row video reviews with the Frog Brothers podcast.
Hello, and welcome to a Front Row Videos review with the Frog Brothers podcast. My name's Justin. With me is Alec and Nick.
Nick hit his face on the microphone.
We're reviewing the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, yes.
Not
hate when movies
Suicide
do
Squad.
this.
They're hoping that you forgot 3 years ago.
I mean, apparently.
Or I guess it's 5 years now, actually. It's actually longer than you think.
It's been 80 years.
It's longer than it took them to go from Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man.
Who's the director of this movie?
One.
This new one would be James Gunn.
James Snyder.
Which is interesting, isn't it? James Gunn, right? No, I knew who directed this. I was
Twitter
trying to bring this up.
James Gunn.
Exactly. Canceled, got this job, then got his old job back after being uncanceled, and now is talking about doing more DC.
He did got himself a new boyfriend to make the old boyfriend jealous.
Now he's just getting laid on both sides. He's in a polyamorous relationship at this point. So with film studios, which, hey, whatever, more on you.
Moron.
Get all the
more on you.
Superhero sex organ action you can.
I should have watched the original again to compare. I don't know.
My point was this movie opens up with a Johnny Cash song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Folsom Prison Blues.
That made me.
Can you think of any other movie that involves James Gunn and Zack Snyder, who produced this movie, that opens up with a Johnny Cash song? Dawn of the Dead. Opens up with The Man Comes Around. I recognized this immediately when I saw this because there's only a certain movies that open up with Johnny Cash at the beginning.
What Stay Puft is that?
That's Playmobil.
Oh, okay. I have that. I don't remember it being that size.
I like it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. It's a little bit different. He's looking at my fucking toy collection.
I was like, what Stay Puft is that? There's so many.
Not even listening. No, you have a good point though, right? So it takes a certain style to be willing to go with that route. So
yeah, I'm just pointing out the similarities too, and like they do the same things in their types of films, and it's very interesting that way.
I also wonder about so Snyder's executive producer.
Yeah,
like how much involvement is it? Just a check and a name on the screen, or does he really still?
Well, right, is he the Paul Feig? I was going to say Kevin Feige is what I meant.
Yeah,
is he the Kevin Feige of this? I don't know.
What level of involvement does he still have?
Who knows? Maybe he just cucks on set. You know, he shows up and watches them direct and beats off in the corner. But this has it shows what's the actor's goddamn name who's also in Guardians and Mallrats and Walking Dead.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, Michael Rooker. So it's kind of like, you know, you almost expect him to be in a lot of this movie because the trailers are so out of there. You don't know what the movie's really about or who. You're like, oh, I can bet you Harley Quinn's there. And since Idris Elba has top billed,
I definitely didn't expect him to die as quickly.
Yeah,
no, that was one of my favorite things about this movie is that they just killed off some random people. So you're like, hey, you know, that way you're not like, oh, he's just going with his normal cast.
Well, it was like,
that was the thing. They wanted you to think that this was the team, and then they all get killed.
And it reminded me of fucking MacGruber. Do you remember MacGruber? I need to get a copy of that.
I was also thinking of Deadpool 2, that little team he put together, and they just all fucking die.
Which also, again, reminds me of MacGruber because MacGruber does that. Remember, he gathers this awesome team of like fucking action superstars, and it's like literally people you recognize, and you're like, oh, that's fucking Terry Crews. He's got like, oh, that other big macho motherfucker. Oh, this guy. Some other people, you know, and then he gets them all in this van. And the fucking van explodes or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just runs towards it going, oh, no, oh, shit, oh. And it's fucking hilarious. So that's what that reminded me of. Pete Davidson, I would have liked to see more of just because after watching Staten Island King, I'm like, all right, I kind of want to see where this guy goes.
Yeah, that was the one. It was like, okay, you know, they did kind of kill him off pretty early.
Sean Gunn did the acting for Weasel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He also made an appearance as
Calendar Man. Is that what he did?
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe
someone was Calendar Man.
Where is it?
One of the greater Batman villains.
He's the guy who calls Polka Dot Man a pussy and asks him if he's going to throw polka dots at him or whatever in the jail. He's like bald and shit. But Flula Borg, do you know who that is?
Oh, Alan Tudyk was Calendar Man.
Oh, dang. I didn't even notice that. See, that's another one that's like...
He had a very big part.
Yeah. Well, like Flula Borg is a comedian. He's German. He's very flamboyant. He was Javelin, who was like, dying there and handing his javelin to fucking Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I gotta say, after seeing John Cena in this, I'm like, okay, I guess I could watch him in some stuff.
The interesting piece
Not great, but like
is probably is better.
That's what I mean. Like I haven't seen him, and I haven't watched the new Fast movie yet, the Fast and Furious movie, and he's in that. So
I still need to see that.
Yeah. And I'm never a big necessarily a fan of wrestlers turned actors, but
I've enjoyed The Rock, and I think Batista's done pretty good stuff.
Well, it's like The Rock is like, name something great that he's in.
That's the thing, though. I think The Rock is
that's the only one everyone ever names.
That's his best one,
and that was like fucking 20 years ago.
What's the sequel to Get Shorty? He was good in that.
I'm not talking about him being good in it. Is it good?
What's a good movie that he's been in?
That's what I mean. Like he's just in lots of weird, like he's in the Fast movies and stuff. He's in a lot of action movies.
The first Jumanji thing was pretty good.
I'm not saying he's bad. These days, he's definitely earned more of my respect and like
I like him in movies though.
If you think of him like a new age Arnold, it's easier. It's like, oh, you kind of fill that void. Yeah, I get that. And he's not bad. He's
a lot of action stars these days aren't even big.
But like, I fucking hate those Jumanji movies. Okay, I didn't see the second one.
The first one was okay. The second one isn't.
I only saw part of the first one, but I also hate Jack Black pretty much, and I hate Kevin Hart.
I thought Jack Black was okay. I mean, even if you don't like Jack Black, I think he was more tolerable. But Kevin Hart, I can see that's
last time I liked Jack Black was Tropic Thunder, and I don't even
Saving Silverman.
Even then, I could do without him in that movie, to be honest.
Tropic Thunder?
Yeah. It's like he doesn't really steal the show by any means.
No, but I think John Cena works in this. And the interesting piece is clearly DC and Warner Brothers did too, because they've already got the Peacemaker TV series that dropped.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
January. It's 8 episodes, 5 episodes, directed by James Gunn. The whole season was written by him. So
dang, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, they already filmed it. They filmed it last fall, so it's
and of course
that's why
learn that he survives, and
yeah. So that's why
obviously for me the big show stealer is David Dastmalchian, who is Polka Dot Man. He was the funniest to me. I mean, clearly he's written in a certain way, and I fucking just loved every part of his character, and it was hilarious to me. Yeah, the weasel drowns.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, he does.
They show him survive at the end.
Yes, but we're talking about this point in the movie, Nick.
Oh, right. He's dead. So someone.
Yeah, you get to kill off
this whole squad.
According to this portion of the film, he's drowned until later on they show you that he's not, which is whatever. But he looks like a fucking old, like really bad, like movie effect. And it's amazing and hilarious. I like how he looks kind of like an old, like 1960s Japanese horror movie or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like it's
a weird look.
CG, but it definitely looks like it's like a terrible costume. But it's just the proportions are like Cat in the Hat proportions almost. So like it's just off-putting enough that it's like works as being like that's terrible.
I kind of wish he was in more of the film though.
Yeah. Same. I felt that way about a few of the characters. One of the entertaining ones for a minute there was the detachable kid.
That's what it stands for.
Right. The fucking limbs that just float around and shit. Fucking hilarious though.
Yeah, that was amazing. Well, these are all like real DC characters. So like,
yeah, exactly.
That's the great thing. There's so many stupid ass fucking characters from like the golden age and stuff.
Well, right. It's like you could do the same thing in Marvel.
Yeah, just bring
in so many weird side obscure characters that have been in there before. And then they kill half of them off. That's fucking hilarious. Captain Boomerang, Javelin, Mangle, whatever.
That's kind of an issue I have with the DCU, and I feel like they just don't give a shit anymore because like they had Black Mask in the Harley Quinn movie, and he was awful, an awful Black Mask and interpretation of it, and they killed him off. Like, I think they don't think they're ever going to make more Batman movies in this universe.
The savant head exploding thing, and how that the beginning of the movie starts as being kind of like tricking you into thinking it's about him.
Rooker, right?
Yeah. And he it reminds me of Escape from New York, though, when they put the explosive in his head. Obviously, I think that's what they're going for. But they're like, we'll fuck you up with this explosive if you don't follow our directions. And they fucking.
Well, it is the first one too.
When it works too, because
Yeah.
even like Michael Rooker talking about it, he's like, oh, when they're talking about his character and some press stuff I'd seen about it, he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to really kind of see it, what they do with my character, and you're just like, oh, he's fucking trolling us, and we had no idea yet. It was beautiful.
So here's another note about the music in this movie. Very similar note as before. There's a song in this segment. What's the name of the song? I didn't write down the name of the song, but it's the one that it sings, lots of people gonna die. You know that from the movie? It's like a rock song with guitars, and it's just kind of fast, and it's just singing, lots of people gonna die. It's like fun and upbeat.
They didn't play 20 different songs in the first 30 seconds like the first movie.
Well, this song is in another movie that was written by James Gunn, directed by Zack Snyder, which also has a Johnny Cash song at the very beginning of it, Dawn of the Dead. The song's in Dawn of the Dead. So that's another interesting note for you. I recognized it from that and was like, sure, this is in Dawn of the Dead as well. Let me look that up. Yep, it's in Dawn of the Dead.
So it's the same song.
Yes. So it's like, it's just funny little note there.
You got to wonder, like, for some of that stuff, is that the same? Is that shit on like Warner Brothers records or, whatever? So they didn't have to pay any licensing or were able to do reduced fees because it's all owned within the.
I don't know. Was Dawn of the Dead Warner Brothers?
That's a good question. Let me look it up and see.
Dawn of the Dead 2004.
It could have been. I don't know. But either way, I'm just thinking, like, I think there's their musical taste and direction. Same with the Johnny Cash thing.
Oh, for sure. But yeah.
The rat catcher, that's an interesting character. More a sympathetic character, obviously.
Yeah.
Universal Pictures distributed it. Strike Entertainment, New Amsterdam Entertainment.
There you go. Peter Capaldi, which I don't know if either of you would know him, but he was one of the doctors in Doctor Who, and he's like my favorite doctor. He's very interesting. He's the old guy with all the shit in his head.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, I know it's off page a little bit, but my favorite cameo in this movie is Taika Watiti.
Yeah, I read that, but I don't even remember it now. Where was that?
He plays was
he a voice or a full character?
He's a full character and just in costume with long hair. He's the rat. What's her name? I don't know.
Oh, the rat catcher's the original rat catcher.
Yeah, the rat catcher's father. And I liked her.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He's in the flashback scene where they're up on the rooftop, and she's
I've not seen him a bunch.
I thought he was great because he didn't remind me of anyone else he played in that character. He just felt out of place, and I was like, oh shit, that's where he's at, because I was kind of looking for him to pop up.
So starfish, that's slang for butthole. Any connection there? That made me laugh.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we already saw it in the trailer, but him saying, we're all going to die. And then Polka Dot Man saying, I hope so. Fucking, I love that.
Point. You're like, yeah, let's get this done. And I love how there's just so many good moments in this. Like, this movie is not an amazing movie, but it's much more enjoyable and digestible than the original.
I like the penis beach talk.
Yeah, but I loved it when you see the big stupid starfish at the end. They're like, "Oh, kaiju," and everyone's like running, like they clearly know what they're doing, and they're just very tongue in cheek about it. And I like that, how you're kind of seeing that. Like, this is so absurd to see this giant starfish like speed around and fucking destroying the town.
I wasn't expecting the graphic violence. I was pleasantly surprised.
I was expecting some, but it was a little more than I was expecting, so that's good.
Level, yeah. I mean, blowing his.
What's the shark's name? What do they call that?
King shark.
King shark, but it also has like a name they call it in this.
Oh,
but either way,
remember.
The shark's interesting. Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
I like the shark.
Nananu.
There you go. Nanu.
Another.
And so he's pretty cool. And I guess originally he was supposed to be a hammerhead shark, and they said that just having the eyes so far apart for the hammerhead on set for like the stand-in was like very distracting. So they decided to go with that great white look instead, which I think works pretty well for this, right? It's a good design.
It just makes me want to see a Street Sharks movie.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it proves that you're ready for it. Yes.
Yeah, we're all ready for it. I like how the hilarious conversation between them and Peacemaker, and they're talking about how he kills people and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, I will make the world a peaceful place, and I don't care how many women and children and men I have to kill to do it."
Yeah, his conversation there's like he's truly
it's fucking typical American, like hilarious hoorah shit.
And then you bring a couple of the characters back from obviously the first one, but I like how they don't make a big deal about history or trying to tie any of that bullshit together. Like Rick Flag is back, right? He's kind of the leader there, but he's really not in this one as much.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have that. So it's for an ensemble cast, I think they do a pretty good job. And Idris Elba, I got to be honest with you, man, his recent work compared to Will Smith's recent work is light years ahead of Will Smith at this point.
Yeah. I like Idris Elba. I just don't think they put him in enough interesting roles. Like he's some good ones.
He's had some bad movies.
I like I know it makes people have mixed feelings on Prometheus, the Alien prequel, but I actually really like that movie, and he's the captain of the starship in that.
I like it other than some issues that it has in its place in the universe, but
I mean, there's some minor issues with it,
yeah.
of course, but I think it's honestly
Not
one
as
of the
bad as
better
the next
Alien
one.
movies that's not the first two.
It's a good sci-fi movie.
I like it more than 3, to be honest. So I don't know.
Alien 3.
Yeah, which I don't know. People might hate that opinion, but
Yeah.
No, I can see it.
I like the polka dot man again. I got quotes from him written down. I don't like to kill people, but it's easy when I pretend they're my mom.
They're constantly showing her face.
Oh, that was fucking hilarious when it was like
those were some of the best moments in there. Like his character was
like I didn't even realize the moment when he's dancing on the dance floor.
That all
the people were his mom's face, because I was like, wait, something weird is about this shot. What am I? Oh shit! I was also really high when I watched this last night, but like still, holy shit! All those scenes are really fucking weird. Or when they show up and they accidentally kill all those people that they're saving Rick Flag or whatever.
And it was
and
like
they kill all those motherfuckers.
It was like the resistance people.
Yeah, and they're like, oh. Oh, we didn't see anyone. And then Polka Dot Man again says, I turned them into my mother in my head and killed them.
I didn't think that woman that was like the head of it was as upset as she should have been. Like all of her people got killed.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely a movie. And I like how he explains the interdimensional virus that his mom gave him. Now, and then that's when you see like he sees them as his mom and shit. All that stuff's funny. I like Polka Dot Man a lot, as you can tell.
Like Waterboy. He pictures people before he tackles them.
Right.
He's one of those characters in this movie that has no right being as well written and as good as he is in this movie.
But like I said, this actor, right? The first time I saw him in a movie, and then this is probably the same for a lot of you, as The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the fucking guy that shoots, not what does he do? He doesn't actually shoot him, but he gets arrested at where the Joker shoots fucking Gordon in Dark Knight. He's the guy who was taken by Harvey Dent and like kind of tortured or whatever in the back of that thing.
Yep.
So that's where I saw him first. And then he was also in, well, for one, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, but what's the other?
He's been in the Ant-Man movies. His resume.
Yeah, the Ant-Man movies. That's what I was thinking of.
And he's done a lot of voice work. So
and Belko Experiment, also with Micah Rooker, which was written by James Gunn, and Sean Gunn's in that movie too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
lots of interesting connections.
The fact that they got James Gunn to come over and do this, they lucked out for it just because of his history with DC and some of these other characters and the way they've done this, and obviously how he's partnered up with
so
his name.
What about this fucking president guy who's like all into Harley Quinn and shit, and then she fucks him and then kills him?
Yeah, she was great in this. I
Only
think this is my favorite performance that she's done as Harley Quinn.
Right.
You guys seen Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
I actually didn't see that one.
I think I saw it. Did I see it with you, Justin?
No.
I felt like I went to the theater, and I don't think I went by myself.
It was one of the last movies I saw at the theater
I
before
saw
they shut
that one.
down for a while.
Maybe I did go by myself. I don't know.
I just thought Harley was badass in this, especially when she goes and kills this fucking starfish.
Well, I like the murder spree that she has right after she fucking uses her feet to get the fucking key, and then, well, she strangles a guy first, breaks his neck or whatever, unlocks herself, escapes, and then murders the fuck out of everyone in there.
And I love the shooting scene where she's going down, shooting everybody down. Like, lots of times, it's like, it just feels like she's actually doing it the way it's like actually drawn out, right? Because she's got these weapons and just laying everyone down.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't feel like that, or like, how is the shot so accurate? But in this, you're just like, oh, it just feels like she's crazy enough that she knows how to aim that gun and like just take people out, which is pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't overly sexualize her in this like they could. I mean, she has moments where she's obviously, dealing with the president, but
she's not as scantily clad.
Right.
But beyond that, it's not just like a gimmick for her. I felt like she really had a good role here.
She does look great in that dress with that makeup on, though. But again, as someone who's into goth chicks, anyone who just looks super pale and is in like goth ass looking red dress with makeup on like that, I'm just like, hello, how are you? But the Pixies there's a Pixies song in here too. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
When the shark tears a guy in half, that's pretty cool.
I like how completely different this was, though. This felt like when you think of a lot of the other DC stuff that we've seen lately, and I'm not going to say that, I'm a huge fan of any of it right now, really, but I did like this more than I liked other stuff. But still, it's
a complex universe, and that's what's unfortunate, is because it's like it's continuing. So how do you get invested in something where half of it is complete shit, even when the new stuff is good?
Seems like they're doing.
It's just
seems like they were doing better when they're not trying to connect everything and make this universe where everything's standalone.
Yeah.
Well, and it just feels like they didn't have enough writing continuity, right? Zack Snyder having that relationship with James Gunn previous, you would have thought that they would have tried to get him into the writing earlier, but obviously he had Guardians, so he was contractually obligated to work for Marvel. So the fact that he got freed from that actually gives him some more creative freedom. But you're just thinking like, okay, so James Gunn can be a great writer. He can be very prolific, but there's also times where it's less than ideal. Like I know Alex's number one claim to fame is that he wants to murder James Gunn for making Scrappy Doo the villain of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I want to slap the shit out of him for it.
It's just sometimes he just tries to be controversial, right? And that's one of those
I love that movie still, so it's just a thing. That's my biggest complaint about that movie. And you know what? It's one of the best remakes out there that's been made, if not the best. I don't know. At least in that era of remakes, 2004 is that Dawn of the Dead. It's fucking great. Like it doesn't try to be too much of the original, and it's one of the best modern zombie movies that's been made. So
it takes enough of the premise that you kind of have a general idea what you're going to experience.
Yeah. Basically, a bunch of people trapped in the mall during a zombie apocalypse. That's the concept, and they ran with it. So, yeah, I don't have too much more to say about this, but like I said, it's stuff like Deadpool that started to pave the way. Once they finally made Deadpool, you could start making a movie like this and know that
I'm glad they're not
going to piss people off and ruin everything.
I'm glad they're not terrified to make rated R comic book movies.
Yeah.
Or rated R movies in general. Like they weren't scared to do it in the 80s, and then for like 20, 30 years they were scared to do it. But
I'm more inclined to rewatch this than some of the other DC stuff. But like I said, it's just one of those things where you've built this universe, and I don't care about half the universe right now. So I'm hoping going forward.
I think
do
they've
some more
kind
good
of
stuff.
abandoned the universe aspect of it, though.
But even so, it's still connected to it.
Yeah, but I don't
So
think it matters now. So if you don't care about that other part, it doesn't really affect.
It does for me though in my head. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it's more like it's a shame.
It's one of those like nerdy anxieties I have. That's just like,
well, yeah, because I'm like, we're never gonna continue what we started.
Yeah,
it's like it's for nothing. And we got to
See,
reboot it again.
I'm torn on it. Like, I want to be open to the idea that you can do more of these movies by having the same actors portray these characters and just have it be a different story, right? Because comics rewrite shit all the time. They redo the same stories and people come back from the dead all the time.
Yeah.
So if you like someone's performance of that, I'm good with that. But the fact that they tried so hard to force this all into the shoebox before, and then, you know, they took the dick out of the shoebox, and then you can't put the dick back in the shoebox.
I think that's what they're saying. They want to do is put the dick back in the shoebox.
Yes.
Like you
got that. So,
the dick has been out of the shoebox before. We put it back.
The Suicide Squad.
People forget about the dick.
So does everyone recommend that others pay money to see this?
If you have HBO Max, it's a no-brainer.
Well, if you have HBO Max already, definitely watch it.
I can't actually in good faith recommend necessarily going out at this point, depending on your area.
If there wasn't,
because
if there wasn't a virus, would you recommend?
Things are annoying. Possibly, especially if it's just like, you know.
Is it worth a ticket price?
Sure.
This one, yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't have gone out of my way to see it. I'm glad we watched it. It was better than I thought it would be.
But there's a lot of good stuff on HBO Max in general. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and watch what they have.
Speaking of subscribing, like and subscribe on this video if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not watching this free on YouTube, to subscribe. And you're listening on the audio feed, head over to the YouTube and subscribe if you aren't at youtube.com/The Frog Bros. Also, we have a Facebook page. Search up Frog Bros. Yeah, a Facebook group. Well, we have a Facebook page
and
too.
A group.
Go like our Facebook page and then join our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Search up Frog Bros Video and you'll find us.
And post nudity.
Also, send $20 in unmarked $20
pennies.
Yeah, unmarked pennies to my OnlyFans account.
See, as we wrap this up, one thing that I found super interesting about this movie is that I had higher expectations just because James Gunn was attached to it, but I never got super into watching the trailers or doing breakdowns or figuring out who's playing what character, because a lot of these are obscure enough that I don't really give a fuck. So I was pleasantly surprised that this was a fun movie, and that's all I was hoping for. You can't hope for anything amazing. You
had high and low expectations at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I was high and I had no expectations. Like, I did not give a shit one way or the other because I figured I wasn't going to like it. I liked it more because of that, but I wasn't like in love either. So,
yeah. But all in all, I'd say if you can watch it at home, watch it. I'll probably watch it again just because.
Yeah, I need to watch it again too.
That final act was pretty entertaining to me, and just getting to some of that, you know, I just kind of want to see how that story plays out again, start to finish. Now that I kind of have a better idea what's going on.
I want a polka dot man figure.
I seen it.
Really?
Yeah, they've got them out. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. I need to pick one up.
Those are from the McFarlane line of DC toys that are out now too, and it looks.
Oh, they look good, huh? Yeah, I need to pick one up then.
That looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it in person or on Facebook.
I just want him. I mean, I have some Batman stuff. I need a Batman too, maybe, but I don't know. Either way.
Yep.
That was Front Row Videos reviews. So
tell us your thoughts of the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad in the comments section.
You can tell us your feelings on the old one too.
Yeah. Send money.
Yeah.
Give us some money.
Alec is the toy defender. He is our own hero.
Good night.